Hey guys, I realize it's been a while since I've been talking to you, especially about informational and those sorts of videos. I've really only had out sort of stop motion, and then I think I had a live stream in there too. But today I want to talk to you about something that's really uncommon and unheard of, and I'm sure that either hardly any of you or none of you have actually heard of what we are going to be talking about today, and that is a Lego Star Wars item. Notice I don't say product, and we'll get to why in a minute, but a Lego Star Wars item which nobody, it seems like, has ever heard of, and is even rare just to find pictures on the internet. And I'm sure all of you are wondering what this is, especially if you see the thumbnail. But anyways, now I apologize first of all that this picture right here is really blurry, and that's just because this was taken back in 2002, back when this was released. But essentially what this was is a promotional item that was given to certain stores that was actually along the Walmart chain that allowed kids to build specific clones. We'll get into the details of what exactly went on with this whole event, but it was sort of a competition to see how many people could build as many clones as quickly as they can. But you can see that these came with a lot of figures, and that right here in this picture I think is only about half of how many actually came with them. So I'm sure you're wondering what was actually included in this sort of item, this set. That's actually a harder question to answer than you would think. Now, that really depends on what you consider to be included in this set. If you want to take a look at the promotional at large, which we'll talk about again in a minute here, but the real base of what was in this was 150 of the clones, which you see on the screen right now, which were also released, with set number 7163 with the cutout visor, and also 150 blasters just in the clone building event part of this actual promotional item at large, which was at Walmart again. So I'm sure you guys are wondering, what was this included with exactly? Where was this going on, and how did people obtain these? So we're going to talk about that for just a minute right here. This was actually part, as I mentioned, a part of a larger promotional, which was known as the Jedi Training Academy at Walmart, or also known as the Jedi Challenge. So essentially there was different stations that you could use to take a look at your Jedi training way back in 2002. This was for younger children, of course, but they included, I think, lightsaber dueling was one of them on like this sort of a screen, and one of the items happens to be a clone building event. Now, this was a promotional set up by Walmart to encourage people to go and see the new Star Wars movie, because this was literally 2 weeks before Episode 2 was about to be released. Now, this actually equates to also why these sets are so hard to find, which is because so many of these items were giving out to young children, just particularly minifigures within the set. Maybe not the whole thing at large, but whoever would partake in the event, sometimes whoever would win the event would win a clone or a couple clones or something like that. So finding sets that are complete at all, if finding any at all, is such a huge and rare thing. Now, what you're seeing right here is what the whole thing included with just the clone building event. You can see all the minifigures have separate body parts bagged up. This is the only example of an unopened one I am yet to find, which you would wonder why they'd be so rare if, there's got to be at least 40,000 out there of all the different Walmarts. But here's the reason why, and that is because, I didn't even mean to include that little picture right there, just a close-up of all the different parts. But the reason why this is so rare is because at that point that they had released the set, only given to Walmart, not available for retail, Walmart was under strict orders by Lego to completely destroy all of the products that they had received from them. They didn't want these to be getting out to people, specific people across the country. They didn't want people to be reselling these, which of course that eventually happened because Walmart didn't really care. They were just Legos. They were just items. They didn't really have anything against Lego, but they didn't really care exactly. So there's tons of people, you can read about stories on online forums of calling up local Walmarts a couple days after the event, asking if they had any, and literally getting these entire sets for free. 150 clones for free. That is awesome, especially these clones too. Now, these items, this is an example of one that was being sold several years back. I haven't found any for sale in a couple years now. I saw one a while back, and I'm kicking myself over not getting it. But these normally price around $500. I've seen some sell upwards of $1,500. So that's really a priceless item. You can't put a price on it at all, just because of its rarity, you know, since there's so few out there, because nobody knows exactly how many there are. There's at most, like I said, 10,000 maybe, but of that, most of those were destroyed. And even then, there's so many people who are not willing to give any of these up. Finding these are rare. You know, I've seen a box, just the box, sell for $300 once. I saw the box sell for $75 once. I don't know why. You know, I didn't really realize it was for sale, but I would have bought it if I knew it was. But you know, these are really hard to find. But yeah, that's essentially the gist of what this is. Notice I didn't say a product or set. It really isn't a set, but it's you know, an item, because it was licensed and released by Lego, but only to a specific amount of people. You could kind of qualify this in the same category as promotional Lego convention items and stuff like that. Now, they did actually have a second clone building event, but in order to sort of fix the errors that had happened in 2002, with the new one on the right picture right there, you can see that's from 2008 with the new clones, they did not allow anybody to keep any of these items. This promotional was only held at Lego stores. So I don't know how this gentleman right here, who has the original on the left, also managed to get the new one on the right from 2008, because they were really heavily secured. Maybe he worked for the Lego store or something. And they actually had minifigures specially marked with Commander Cody's helmet, just to make sure that none of the minifigures, none of the sets actually escaped from the store. So yeah, really rare item. I'm sure probably very few of you, if any of you have even heard of this, maybe one of you just miraculously actually has one, but something I've always been looking for. So if you know of one that's for sale, go ahead and let me know. So yeah, a little bit different of a topic. I'm sure you've never really heard of that, but thank you for watching, guys. Be sure to stay tuned for more videos. I can be doing some more Battlefront 2 live streams, getting some more stop motions hopefully at some point in the future, and also starting a new mock. And that is something that will take a really long time, but excited to share with you what that will be exactly. Another thing that I want to mention before I forget, you can find clones for these without the box too. So like I have 49 of those clones that I bought separate from the actual set itself, because you can find people selling the clones in small quantities. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you want any of the clone troopers, they normally range about $7.50 plus a little bit of shipping too. So if you really want one, go ahead and pick it up. It's an awesome minifigure, my favorite clone. So yeah, that's rambled on a little too long, but that's all I have for you guys. So thanks for watching. May the force be with you, and as always, have a nice day.